Good evening, folks, and welcome to video episode number 5 of the Everything Comics podcast. My name is Charles, and for those who may have caught the last 2 episodes, you will see we are back in our familiar haunts. So, and you probably can maybe guess what that means. It is time to welcome back our co-host, Mr. Ray. Come on down, Ray. How's it feel to be back?
Pretty good. How's everybody doing? Last week I was a little under the weather, so I needed a few days to recuperate. So I'm back. I'm feeling better and
Glad to hear it.
ready to start talking about some comics. As I heard that you had a nice little episode with buddy Dave.
Yeah, I believe you got to see a bit of it before we started, but
Yes, I did.
yeah, I think Dave did a great job. Thank you so much, Dave, for filling in for.
Dave is very knowledgeable. Very
Yeah.
knowledgeable. Knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And plus, what I like about Dave too is, I'm sure you guys heard, Dave likes different things than we do.
Yes.
And I always feel it's always good to have another element to the show, because you and I pretty much like the same things, minus
Minus a few here
a few
and there.
different titles.
Right.
But Dave likes different stuff than we do, so
yes.
I think that's actually cool to add an element like that. So
Right.
thanks again, Dave. Appreciate it.
Yep. Definitely, he intrigued me about Scooby Apocalypse. It was not a series that was really initially going to be on my radar, but the way he described it last week, I was curious about it. I'm probably going to see if I can find that in trade paperback.
There you go. Yeah, let me know how it is.
I will
'Cause
definitely.
that would be something that I would never be interested in reading.
Right. Well, when you get a chance to finish watching last week's episode,
He makes a good case for it.
he does.
See that? Just like a salesman there, Rosenthal. All right.
Yeah. So.
We got there's a ton of news that came out. I know one of the issues that dropped this week, which we're going to talk about, is the return of Charles's favorite character ever. So I don't know if you want to maybe jump right into that. You want to start off with something else.
Let's wave it in into our
Fourth World
picks of the week.
Yep.
So, our very first Fourth World pick of the week may as well be that. So,
There you go.
Detective Comics 965. And I believe you actually just read this issue.
Yes, I did, and it was freaking fantastic. Very, very good. Happy to see Tim back. I know Charles is.
Yes.
They actually show you where Tim has been.
Yep.
And I gotta say, I was surprised about a couple things.
What surprised you?
Well, first of all, that he was being held by Superman's dad.
Yeah, Jor-El.
Jor-El. That kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. And then a lot of cool things too for me that happened in here, especially when.
By the way, real quick, I'm going to just declare, spoiler alert, we're going to spoil the issue. This has been a long time coming.
We're going to spoil the hell out of this thing.
Yeah, sorry.
Another cool thing that I thought when he was talking about, him wanting to be Batman, and Tim was like, you know what, I didn't want that. I wanted to set my own path.
Yeah.
I wanted to do my own thing, which I thought was really cool too.
Yeah.
But fantastic issue. I know you liked it as well.
Yeah. And, I'm glad to see the character back. I'm definitely glad that they restored his origin as was originally written.
Mm-hmm.
Complete with lifting the dialogue straight from A Lonely Place of Dying.
Mm-hmm.
And, just glad to see the real Tim back.
Yeah.
Not the person that's been wearing his face, but really was nondescript throughout the New 52.
Yeah. Like you said about taking back the flashback where they show you him as a little boy talking to Robin, and they said there was only 3 people in the world that can do that somersault.
Yeah.
All that was really cool.
Yeah.
I like that they did that.
Yeah. So, and give you a hint, guys. If you ever get a chance to pick up A Lonely Place of Dying, that's where all the flashback stuff is pretty much from there. Pick that up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then the other character that showed up. What did you think of that?
Yeah, Doomsday.
Not even Doomsday.
Oh, Doomsday was at the end.
Doomsday was at the end. Remember who else showed up before Doomsday?
Oh, this is a bad Batman.
Yep. But not quite Batman.
Yeah, he was pretty much staring at an older version of himself.
Yep. For anyone who remembers the Jeff Johns run of Teen Titans, by the way, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to read that. Outstanding run. What happened was in the early 2000s, Jeff Johns brought back the Teen Titans, and he wrote it, I think, pretty much the whole way through. I believe it was just about the whole way through. 100 issues, and phenomenal work.
That's one thing I'm not gonna lie, I do miss about DC. I do miss Jeff Johns writing some books.
Yeah, it's as obviously for him, he's gone on to
bigger and better things. Obviously,
bigger
he's
things
doing his
himself,
thing. But
gotta respect that.
Yeah, it would be nice every once in a while he'll pop up on a book.
Right.
I'd like that.
Right. I mean, he's definitely known for some lengthy runs with characters. I mean, it was his long run on the Flash. His long run with Green Lantern. But yeah, the Teen Titans to me really stood out because the thing was, often teen books don't always succeed at letting you kind of experience every single character in their own right. Characters tend to drop in and out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Certain characters tend to dominate. The thing about Jeff Johns' Teen Titans run was every single member felt important.
And that's the way it should be when you're doing an ensemble book. Every character should be important as the next. And not to say that you're not going to have your main character,
right?
But still, every character should feel important.
Right. So to circle this back to this issue, where we see is we meet the Batman that we meet is actually from an early arc of Teen Titans. Those Titans Tomorrow, and they introduce an apocalyptic future in which the Teen Titans end up becoming the Justice League. And let's just say they become what would happen if the Justice League decided to adopt the methods of the Punisher.
Yeah, because once he seen him pull out the gun, Tim was like, "Wait a minute, you're not Bruce Wayne. Batman doesn't use a gun."
Yeah.
And then that's when he's like, "Well, this was the gun that killed
Thomas and Martha Wayne."
Thomas and Martha Wayne." And that's like, "Oh, look at that, older Tim."
Yep. Yeah, Tim takes off his mask. Yep, you see older Tim.
Yep. So not only do you get teenage Tim Drake, you get older Tim Drake.
So you get two Tim Drakes, and let's not forget something happened to Batman Beyond Tim Drake too. Because if you remember, he disappeared right around the same time that young Tim Drake got kidnapped. So we may have three Tims floating around.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll ever do anything with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. What would be disappointing to me is if you brought Tim Drake back out of all this to either A, kill him, no, or B, to bring him back, but to just basically kind of bury him as part of the ensemble and detective. I want him back in his own book, DC. I hope you're listening. Tim, back, own book. Needs to happen.
That would be cool. That would be really cool if he gets his own book back.
Remember, he carried a book for 209 issues, selling even at his worst, selling better than quite a few of the other books they keep afloat nowadays.
I think we went over that.
Yeah,
we went over that. Like some books going back from bi-monthly to monthly again. And
like Aquaman did. Cyborg has. Honestly, Cyborg's numbers are kind of depressing. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah, they're bad. I'm surprised that book has not got canceled yet. Especially being with the movie coming out, I doubt it's going to be canceled anyway.
Either that or they'll relaunch it.
Yeah.
That's a common thing. Although, I don't know.
I just don't see him as, I just don't see him as he's definitely, to me, an ensemble character.
Yeah.
I don't see Cyborg be able to carry his own book. And the sales definitely reflect that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a shame. But, I think you probably needed to do more work with him to establish him as the type of guy. Because, I mean, like I say myself, I don't know if you remember, during the New 52, DC did a Mr. Terrific book. To me, Cyborg is basically Mr. Terrific with bionic parts.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree there.
Yeah, so that's I guess we can basically kind of sum up. So yeah, Detective 965. If you don't have it, go get it.
Yes, excellent choice.
Yeah. Moving on with the rest of our fourth row picks, we have
Wonder Woman 31.
31, yep. And I did glance through this. Plus, I saw some of the interviews. So James Robinson is writing.
Yes.
I don't know if he's writing past this arc or not. He is an acclaimed writer, and it's funny. He's now become one of a pantheon of very few writers who have written the Batman book, the Superman book, and the Wonder Woman book.
Oh wow!
And not as part of like Justice League or anything. Literally, those 3 books.
Each individual.
Yep.
Yeah.
And apparently, we're going to meet a new villainess, and I think that's her on the front here. That is supposed to be the new her version of Joker or Luthor.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Yeah, because I have not read that yet.
Right. Yep. So I think it was Grail was going to be her name. So
now I was reading something about apparently that her brother's going to pop up.
Yes,
A twin brother.
Yes, apparently he will be in. He will be. I mean, I haven't read the full. I haven't like sat down and read it start to finish yet. But it is my understanding the brother will also pop up, and who knows what role he'll play.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that.
Yeah, so what is that? So Wonder Woman 31, folks. So next we're going to shuffle this up a bit because I kind of want to... Okay, so I think we mentioned it last week, but there's Action Comics 97, the Oz Effect Part 1, where we get the big reveal, and spoiler! Spoiler! Jor-El.
Yep, there he is.
And which leads us to this week's issue.
Yep.
Part 2 of the Oz Effect, Action Comics 988. Which, by the way, actually kind of reminds me. That means within like 6 months, we're going to get Action Comics 1000.
Yeah. Yes, we will.
Yep, I remember 3 years ago that we didn't think it was going to happen because New 52 had rebooted everything.
Yeah.
We are going to get 1000.
It's nice to see, especially how long Action Comics has been running.
Yes.
So it's nice to see a book get into the
get into
the
those
thousands.
high digits.
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree 100%. Can't definitely excited to see that. So continuing onward, we'll break up the DC stuff with a one brief Marvel thing.
Jean Grey.
Yep. So in the episode that you missed, we did discuss the fact that in Jean Grey number 6. Now we know this is the teenage Jean Grey here, but in Jean Grey number 6, turns out she's been having inner dialogue, and basically she now talks to the spirit of older Jean Grey, adult Jean Grey.
Yeah, plus I heard she's coming back in December anyway.
Yeah, so the question is, does this play into that? I mean, you would hope it would, because otherwise it's kind of like, what's the point?
Exactly. Especially, well, Marvel has done things like that.
Yes.
So, I mean...
Very true.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a completely different take and not even have anything to do with this. It wouldn't surprise me.
But at the same time, I think that'd be sad. Because
it kind of would, because I always liked Jean. Well, I was always an X-Men fan anyway.
Yeah.
And ever since I think the movies, if Marvel didn't own the property, they pretty much, I felt they would shit on it.
Yeah.
On the book versions, i.e. like what they did with the X-Men.
For all these years, yeah.
Which I don't think is cool, i.e. like the Fantastic Four, but those last 2 movies were oof. Well, the last movie anyway.
Wow.
I should say.
But in my opinion, the first 2 were, the first one was okay. Honestly, I liked the interaction of the team. I thought Doctor Doom was a disaster.
He was a great actor. I liked him as an actor.
Yeah.
But he just was not a good Doctor Doom at all.
You know what it is? Because they didn't really... It wasn't really Doctor Doom he was playing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a character that dressed like Doctor Doom toward the end, but...
But it wasn't him.
No. And that's the thing. It's like they can't seem to get Doom right. And it's such an iconic character.
He is.
And really, anyone that's read a lot of Marvel could tell you about Doctor Doom, but they can't figure it out.
That was just a big failure.
And then Rise of the Silver Surfer, that abomination that was Galactus.
Oof. No bueno.
Yeah. and then the total turd that was the 2015 movie.
Yeah, that. Oof. Yeah, we won't even go into that.
Yeah, but anyway, but that does actually lead me into something real quick. Marvel Legacy brings back the Richards kids,
Yes,
Franklin and Valeria.
Yep. Which I'm wondering if that's going to be a segue into them bringing back the Fantastic Four.
Right. Yeah, because we know that Marvel 2-in-1 is going to have the Thing and Human Torch back together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, time will tell.
Yeah, you wonder if maybe they're finally, part of the legacy thing. Because let's be honest, Fantastic Four are part of Marvel's legacy.
Exactly. And even though with the movies, a lot of people really don't know, the Fantastic Four was a huge part of the Civil War storyline too.
Yeah.
Huge part.
Yeah. They really had to do a lot of workarounds to basically take them out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that book. Let's see. We have a particular trampy looking Zorana for G.I. Joe Real American Hero number 244. I would say it's pretty trampy looking, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, so haven't really thumbed through you haven't really read it yet. G.I. Joe's headed toward 250. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not loving Hammer's writing as of late.
Mm.
It kind of feels like, I don't know, it's just going to go, like to keep going in a way now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one thing is, and the thing is, it's kind of sad in a way because it's like, this is the one place, that you go to get the classic characters acting like the classic characters with the classic continuity.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you see it, you kind of feel like it's kind of like just drudging along.
It's like just going through the motions.
Yeah, it's going through the motions. I mean, Cobra Commander keeps trying to take out Destro. Destro keeps beating Cobra Commander, but somehow never getting around to killing him because somehow it's always bad for business or they want to be partners. It feels like it's gotten to be a stretch now.
Mm-hmm.
The Joes are just kind of there. They have Joes doing like odd missions here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's intersprinkled in is like deaths of characters. You usually, like the way Hammer's been writing it, put it this way, while the figures themselves are pretty safe, pretty much any supporting character he's written over the years, watch out for them. Like if anybody, like Billy was killed, that was the commander's son.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Burkhart, literally the first person that Joe's ever rescued in G.I. Joe number 1. She bought it not too long ago. So, yeah, any supporting characters that you've gotten attached to throughout G.I. Joe's run, and there have been many, watch out for them.
Mm.
So, and it's kind of weird to have Serpentor on the cover because because he was killed in the book. Mind you, he's been killed twice now. He was killed back in G.I. Joe 76 with an arrow through the head from Zartan. And then he was killed again in G.I. Joe 213 or 14 with Snake Eyes. Basically, both blew up in a grenade.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's G.I. Joe. We have Nightwing: The New Order Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read the first issue?
No, I didn't read it yet.
You have to get to this. I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say it's got quite a few plot twists. And Dick Grayson, and it's set in a future. Will it be the future? You don't know, but it's a future.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle Higgins is writing it, and Kyle Higgins has always gotten Nightwing. So without spoiling the contents of this issue because he hasn't read it yet or the previous one, I definitely recommend the series. It's very interesting, dark.
6, right? 6 issue?
It's 6 issues, yeah. The issue 2 just came out. So, which now leads me to a little catch up with
28.
Nightwing 28, and which leads us to
29.
Yep.
That's the metal tie-in.
Yep. So, as I said, I literally just picked up these issues before we came here, so I haven't had a chance to read too many of them yet. And we have an issue I picked up basically for the cover.
Yeah, Arrow.
Yeah, Green Arrow 31.
That is a pretty cool cover. I like that.
That is, right?
Yeah.
Yep, you got basically the main hero.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah. Although we seem to be missing Cyborg.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, right? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like somebody else is missing too, but I can't. Oh, Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Green Arrow 31. And I'm going to finish up with some catch up to follow up on something I brought up that in the last episode. You know, I discussed this a book that's actually a very cool book to get into is Invincible. They are actually, I think I mentioned last week, but they're going to end the series soon. So basically, they're doing a 12-issue arc that's called The End of All Things. So I already had issue 1. I think I even showed that last week. But basically, this is me catching up. So 134 Part 2, 135 Part 3, 136 Part 4. Nice costume, by the way.
Yeah. Nothing like seeing one of your heroes in pretty much not lingerie.
Yeah, basically.
A little teddy.
Yeah, basically. So, Part 5, issue 137, and Part 6, issue 138. Okay, so we've done. So we have now covered those are our fourth row comics picks. So what else did you want to bring up today?
I know there was a couple things that you wanted to talk about. Some, I know you said talking about some news that just came out.
Yep. I actually think I need to go to Newsarama real quick because I seem to be blanking at the moment. See, proof that we do all the episodes live.
Yeah, everything's off the cuff. We don't do much.
You know, while I'm pulling this up though, let's do our flashback segment. I believe you had a book you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, because I know you always put me on the spot. So one of the, I know I mostly do all DC stuff, but today I am going to do New Mutants '98, which everybody knows. First appearance of Deadpool,
of course.
But a lot of people don't realize 3 people debuted in that issue.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Domino and Gideon.
Yep. The first part of the book starts out with Gideon.
Okay.
You know, Mr. Tolliver.
Yeah.
Hires Deadpool to go after Cable, as you know. And, you know, Deadpool goes and tries to kill Cable, and Deadpool talks a lot. Gee, go figure. Deadpool talking a lot.
Who would ever think that?
Yeah, who would ever think that? But that's pretty much the first half of the book is about that. Then after all the Gideon stuff, they show you Cable in, I think it was the library, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Where he's training Cannonball. And then he leaves, and that's when he runs into Deadpool. And of course, they fight, and Deadpool's packing because he's expecting that he's going to fight other people.
Of course. And
he ends up running into let's see if I can remember the people he ends up running into. It's Richter?
Okay. I'm guessing Boom Boom.
Yeah, it's Richter, Boom Boom.
Sunspot?
Yes, Sunspot and Cannonball. There
Okay.
you go. Boom. There we go. I just remembered. All right. And then also, too, that's where the third person makes an appearance and just stabs him numerous times in the back. But that's what I mean. Like, a lot of people always talk, oh, yeah, Deadpool, which obviously because he's the biggest one out of them all.
Right.
But people don't realize that there was 3 other people that debuted in that issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And correct me if I'm wrong.
But because even Deadpool was just, hey, he's like, hey, Mr. Tolliver hired me to come kill you, and that's why I'm here.
Right.
You know, didn't waste any time with that. You know?
Right.
And then also, too, it also turns out, which they reveal that Cable and Domino know each other.
Right.
They reveal that in that issue as well.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but because I remember that whole, like, those issues leading up to issue 100 was basically, in effect, them shedding most of the New Mutants characters because they were building up toward X-Force.
Yes.
So, did Richter leave in that issue? Because I know Sunspot leaves in 99.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that pretty much because no one other than Cannonball and Boom Boom are in the 100th issue.
Yeah.
At least of the class of the normal team. So I think he's got to leave that issue.
I think he does. I could be wrong.
Right.
I mean, but I think he does.
Right. Because, yeah, like, you know, I remember that because, like, it was like all the classic characters were basically kind of being shed over the course of those issues.
Yes.
Yeah, we made way for eventually for Domino, Cable, Shatterstar, Pharaoh, I think popped up in 100, and Warpath. That's right, Warpath popped. I think Warpath may have popped up like an issue or two before. I feel like. But yeah, that was definitely one of Marvel's classics.
Yeah, it was, especially at the end where Cable says he mailed him back to Mr. Tolliver.
Yeah.
After, like, they show you him just sitting up all thrusted.
Right.
All the knives sticking him, and they just show you him sitting there. And then when he tells her that he mailed him back to Mr. Tolliver. I thought that was pretty cool. That was kind of clever.
Yeah.
You know, that issue, like I said, Deadpool is probably one of my favorite characters. Like, as far as for me, for Marvel, probably my two favorite characters are Deadpool and the Punisher.
Okay. The Punisher.
Yeah. You know.
So what do you think of? So real quick, what do you think of the Punisher going to work for Captain Hydra?
Yeah. Can't say I'm surprised. Marvel is really doing some strange things lately.
Let's be fair.
But Frank Castle also always followed his own path.
Right.
But
although they do establish that he has some kind of respect or even admiration for Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
So I guess there you go. He follows Captain Hydra because it's Steve Rogers.
Because it's Steve Rogers, exactly. You know, but I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, no, that is...
With their logic sometimes, it always makes you scratch your head with some of the things that they do. And that's why, like, when I brought up the fact with the Jean Grey thing.
Right.
Hopefully they continue on with the path that they're on.
Right.
Instead of doing something completely different that makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm going to do my flashback issue. It's funny because, honestly, I just thought of this on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
Figure we'll stick to, we'll actually do an X-Men related one. I'll do Uncanny X-Men 171.
Okay.
This was from the early 80s. I don't remember the exact year. But why is 171 significant? A character that would later go to be considered an iconic X-Men joins the team, namely Rogue.
Okay.
Now, what makes this issue interesting, Rogue actually started out as a villain. Don't know if you knew that or not.
Actually, I did not.
Yep. Rogue starts out as a villain, basically part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And the thing was, basically, she falls into Mystique's camp because she can't control her powers. And, she's pretty angry, and Mystique uses that. And she ends up, one thing is, but with Rogue, normally, she doesn't normally permanently keep the powers, but she finds out that if she holds on to a person long enough, it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happens. She absorbs, I think it was Avengers Annual 10 or 11. That's actually is her first appearance.
Okay.
Like, period. That's where she absorbs Miss Marvel's powers, but she keeps them permanently. Problem is, she also has now Miss Marvel's mind roaming around in her head. Because the power also absorbs all of Miss Marvel's memories.
Yeah.
Which now leaves Miss Marvel basically like a husk, in a way. She's still alive, but she doesn't remember any of her past.
Okay.
And I will say that does get dealt with in the X-Books, but I'll get to that because you see that in X-Men 171. So what happens is, over the course, Rogue has at least one fight with the X-Men, I believe issue 158. One thing I will say, as a villain, they made her look really butch. Like, instead of having the one stripe the one stripe on in the center of her, she has like these two stripes on the sides, and she just looked really fugly. So definitely being a heroine did a lot to improve her appearance.
Yeah.
See, people always remember that. If you want to stay good looking, stay good.
I said, yeah, that's it. Little food for thought there.
Yeah. But anyway, so eventually what happens is, in the issue, basically, it's a couple things going on. One is, what is it? You've got Storm's going through a bunch of stuff on her own, which you kind of see mixed in throughout the issue. But the other thing is, too, is the X-Men get a knock on their door. They're like, what the hell, right? So they, the door opens, and there's Rogue, and she's basically coming to them because they're her only hope. And so what happens is Professor X brings her into a room. They're all interrogating her, but suffice to say, for probably obvious reasons, no one trusts her worth a damn. Professor X basically does. I mean, it's not so much that he trusts her, but he senses that she's not there to harm them. So what happens is eventually he kicks all the X-Men, their negative emotions just get too overwhelming for him, so he kicks them all out. And he does his own interview. Meanwhile, turns out Carol Danvers, aka the former Miss Marvel, had now been staying with the X-Men. And she ends up somewhere along the line, I don't remember exactly how it happens, but she gains a whole new set of superpowers. It becomes a character called Binary. I believe is actually more powerful than Miss Marvel was. And what happens is, thanks to Xavier, she basically gains back most of her memories. But the problem is, it's almost like reading it in a book, the way Xavier does it. So she doesn't have the emotions that go along with the memories. Imagine that. Basically, you get your mind wiped. You don't remember anything. And then someone basically kind of tells you how you lived your life to that point, but you don't, so you kind of know what happened, but you don't have the feelings of having lived that life.
Yeah. It's kind of messed up.
Yeah, so that's where Miss Marvel was at. And so what happens is, they have an interesting little segment where Miss Marvel returns to the Xavier Institute and just kind of sees Rogue and then punches her. Like, you don't actually see the sequence. You just see Miss Marvel walk into the X-Mansion. There's a shot of the X-Mansion just kind of looking peaceful in the sunset. And then next thing you know, you see Rogue shooting up through the roof. And basically she just took a haymaker from Miss Marvel. They fight. And basically Xavier then comes in and interrupts. And then basically what happens is that Xavier announces that he's going to, not only is he going to accept Rogue into the school, but he's going to make her a probationary member of the X-Men. The X-Men aren't very happy about that. Their loyalty is to Carol, who they see as the victim of, and rightly so. They see it as the victim of, as Rogue's victim. So, they don't want to stay, so they threaten to all leave. Xavier basically pulls, oh, I see. So we're going to pick and choose who we help. Is that how we do it? Is that how we do this? And brings up the fact that, they keep Wolverine on the roster, even though they know that Wolverine himself isn't the cleanest of characters. So,
but he's Wolverine, so he's forgiven.
Of course.
Yeah. He's badass.
Right. So what ends up happening, long story short, what ends up happening is, Colossus is the first one to cave. He basically says, you know what? I trust you, and I'm going to give her chance, and I asked my colleagues to do the same. And, you get a pouty kitty prize, like, well, if I have to, but I'm never going to like her. And Mike Crawler sucks it up. He's like, okay, Professor, you win. Carol ends up taking off. Her thing is, like, she understands, like, she can actually bring herself to understand what Xavier wants to do, but she can't just forgive Rogue, which I probably wouldn't be able to very easily.
Yeah.
And so Carol takes off to find her own destiny. And then the end of the issue, basically the rest of them are walking away, but Storm has yet to make her decision. And that's where the issue leaves off.
There you go.
Yeah. And it's funny because, like I said, you see Rogue all these years and you think, so used to seeing her as a superhero and everything.
And attractive.
Yeah, and attractive. Yeah, uber attractive.
Yeah.
And then if you dig into her beginnings, you see just that evil and butch.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. What is that? Uncanny X-Men 171?
171.
There you have it.
Yep, it was the 60 cent era, so I believe it was around 82 or 83 that issue came out.
Wow.
No, a long time ago, right?
Yeah, yeah, quite a bit.
Right.
Something I want to bring up real quick
Yes.
while you're trying to remember what you were going to talk about with the Newsarama stuff.
Yeah.
We have a new Comic-Con that just popped up here on Long Island called AceCon.
AceCon, tell me.
It's going to be 3 days.
Okay.
I believe it's December 8th, 9th, and 10th. With the entire cast of the Justice League, minus Mr. Affleck. He decided he wasn't coming.
Okay. Huh.
So I'm kind of... Being that it's just around the time the movie's coming out,
Right.
how do you feel about that? That he just kind of... Apparently, from what I heard, like, whether it's true or not, I don't know. You take things that you hear with a grain of salt.
Which,
Apparently, from what I heard, he just said no.
well, you know, it just keeps adding fuel to these flames. I mean, which actually brings me back to one of my topics here.
You know,
So,
I don't see why he would say no. To me, it really doesn't seem like he's interested in being the character. At least that's just the way I get. I mean, he wasn't a terrible Batman. There's been
he
worse.
was far from a terrible Batman. He portrayed what they asked him to portray pretty well.
Exactly. You know, and like I said, being that they're doing a Justice League panel as well,
Right.
there, kind of think. I mean, Henry Cavill's going to be there, and
Right.
Gal Gadot's going to be there. So,
Right.
I think Affleck should have kind of maybe,
Right.
unless he said no because maybe they didn't offer him enough money
Right. You know,
to be able to come.
maybe he had something else. I mean, because
Yeah, true. Maybe he had something else,
Right.
but like that's just the hearsay of
Right.
what I've been hearing that he
Right.
said no.
Right. I mean, the thing with keep in mind with Affleck. Affleck does have a lot going on. Not that the other people don't, but you know, Affleck's star is on a different. In fairness,
It's a different level
he's
than
got
the
a
others.
bigger name than the
Yeah.
others. You know, I've always felt that like a lot of the hate that he got for like Daredevil was unwarranted.
And not only that, too, I think a lot of the hate that he got, too, was from that whole J-Lo thing, the whole Bennifer and all of that stuff. Like, he got a lot of hate for that, too.
Yeah, I thought a lot of it was very unfair.
Mm.
I mean, you know, as far as I can tell, I think he's been a good actor. I've enjoyed quite a few of his movies. I never saw Gigli yet, and I don't think I could ever recommend that to anybody from what I've heard.
Garbage.
We'll leave that alone.
Yeah, it was garbage.
But
now, like I said, they're having a ton of artists, having a bunch of people. So far, I was looking, no mention of Scott Snyder.
how much are tickets?
$55 for 1 day. Yeah.
I guess when you're pulling that kind of power, where are they holding? Nassau?
Nassau Coliseum. And I looked, if you want to get Gail Gadot's autograph, $175. Or you can get a combo, you can get an autograph and a pic with her for $350.
Dude,
Yeah.
it was less to go to Comic-Con a couple of years ago and get Carrie Fisher's autograph.
Yeah, $175. $175 for Henry Cavill also. Then also you could do a combination with Gail and Henry for $350. I think the lesser guys are cheaper. Like Momoa is $80.
Oh, thank you so much.
Ezra Miller is $80, and I think Ray Fisher, I think he's like $60.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the discount, guys.
Plus, for you wrestling fans, the Undertaker's going to be there too, and he is $80 if you want. But Undertaker's only going to appear, I think, 1 day, if I'm not mistaken. And I think Gail and Henry are only going to be there 1 day, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 days. But yeah,
I gotta admit, I have always wanted to meet the Undertaker.
So have I, dude. I've been a huge Undertaker fan forever.
Here's a question: do you think he shows up there as the Undertaker or as Mark Calloway?
Nah, I think he's probably gonna be himself. I don't think he's gonna dress up in costume. You know, that would be kind of sick if he did. That would be pretty badass.
Yeah.
You know, because I only seen him in person once, and my God, is that man huge?
Now, did you see him as Mark Calloway or as the Undertaker?
No, I seen him dressed as the Undertaker.
Right.
Yeah, at an event, but man, was that man huge.
Yeah, he is like
Yeah.
6'10".
Yeah, he's a big dude. You know. But yeah, $175 if you want Gail to sign something for you.
I have nothing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I balked at the Comic-Con when Carrie Fisher was there.
How much was Carrie?
I think like 120.
Hmm.
And I balked at that.
Yeah.
And I will say, now that she's gone, a part of me does kind of regret that.
See, that's one of those things, man. It's like you see the prices and you don't really think. Then you're like, you know what? I should have because they're no longer here.
Right. Like,
You know what I mean? But I'm not going to lie. $175. And I'm sure it cost them a lot of money to get not only her and
Right.
to get the entire cast there. I'm sure it cost a freaking fortune.
Oh, I'm sure, but
You know, but
no. I'm
It's-
sorry, just no.
that's a lot of money.
No. I mean, I'm sorry, no. That's all I can say is no.
Unless I can end up hitting the lottery by December,
I know, right?
then I would even spend the extra $150 and get my picture taken with her so I can give her a hug and hopefully not get beaten up. But,
No.
but as far as just going there as a working stiff, $55 for the weekend and then an extra $175 down to get an autograph. And then plus you're going to end up buying shit because you're going to be able to find stuff that you haven't been able to find in a while. Yeah. You're looking at, especially if you're just going in one day, you're looking about dropping probably $400 or $500 for a day. And
around Christmas time.
And around Christmas, I just can't justify that.
Yeah.
As much as I love her,
Right.
I will love her from afar.
Yeah.
Or unless if I do go and just hang out and look around and maybe pick
Right.
up a couple things,
Right.
try to catch a glimpse of her and maybe snap a picture of her.
You know what they'll probably do? Like, well, I'll tell you, when they had Carrie at the Comic-Con,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they pretty much blockaded where she was at.
Oh, so they'll probably do the same thing for them. You know what? They'll probably be guarding her and Henry and Ezra, Ray, and Momoa will probably be in a corner somewhere with nobody around them.
Right. You know what happened? Like, they'll have the walls. They erect like the blockade so you can't see them.
That's kind of messed up. I
Right.
don't think that's cool.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's funny because I remember in the Comic-Con, right, in what was it, Javits Center, they have the big hall where they're at, right? And, like, it's kind of like a big, like a room, like an auditorium kind of room type, not really auditorium, but it's like this big open hall. And I remember, like, Lawler was there that year too, but Lawler was open. You could just randomly walk up to Jerry Lawler.
Mm-hmm. See, apparently at EternalCon, that's the way it was. Nobody was blocked off.
No.
Like, you can walk around and, like, you can even, like, say hi to people while they were, signing autographs.
In fairness, though, who was the big thing at EternalCon?
Well, for me, it was CM Punk, obviously.
Okay.
Well,
that's right. See, I forgot this past year.
Yeah.
This past year, yeah. Well, I think of the year that we won.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody was hanging out there.
Right.
Everybody was hanging out in the open.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It seems like it'll be kind of interesting. They said they're going to have some more celebrity guests they're going to announce.
Right.
They're going to have, I mean, I'm contemplating going for a day and seeing what it's about,
Yeah, technically, Thursday tickets for Comic-Con, I believe, are still on sale.
Yeah. Thursday, yeah, because they actually sent me an email like, "Oh, we noticed you haven't gotten your Thursday tickets yet." It's like, because I didn't want Thursday tickets.
Right.
I wanted Saturday tickets.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, dude, that's another whole thing. I know we're bouncing around and getting off topic on some things, but that's another whole mess.
Right. And it turns out, by the way, so I looked at my notes. It looks like we did basically hit on everything. The only thing was it? So they talked a little bit about the DC movie continuity. Apparently, they're going to be looser now.
Mm-hmm.
They saw how successful Wonder Woman was, basically following its own story, and I think they believe that that's the route they're going to take instead of interconnecting everything so tightly. All
right. Because I heard that Wonder Woman 2 was going to be present day. Now I heard that
Yeah.
they might do something that's going to be set in the 80s. So
Right.
I don't know what's...
Well, we're very early.
Yeah, what they're
so-
planning on doing with
Right.
that.
But, you know, I mean, that's the funny thing is, because remember when the Wonder Woman 2 wasn't even a apple, you know, wasn't even a apple in anyone's thoughts, and now all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah. I just hope they don't rush it and make a shit movie.
You know, Jenkins is going to be back.
Which is good. She
Yeah.
did a great job.
Yes.
That's another thing. The Blu-ray came out.
Yeah.
The Wonder Woman Blu-ray came out, which I have not picked up yet, so that's for me.
Yeah, go get it.
Yeah.
So let's see. So I believe we will also be getting a Joker movie. I don't know if it's an origin or what, but it's going to be.
Apparently, from what I heard, it was an origin movie, and but now I heard they were actually wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to play the Joker, which I don't get.
Poor Jared.
Yeah, it was like, what are they going to do? Just forget about Jared Leto now, or is this going to be like a different? Like I don't know what the hell they're planning on doing with
It
that.
sounds like they're not necessarily going to stick it with the same continuity, which I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I'm not. Because to me, it kind of reminds. They kind of maybe doing a little bit of like what the Killing Joke did.
Yeah.
Kind of like show him before
Yeah.
he became what he is now,
Right.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like they're going with. But I still don't understand why they wouldn't use Jared Leto for that. Why they would
Well,
cast somebody else. I
we'll see.
don't.
All right.
Then I heard also a Harley Quinn and Joker movie.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I heard something like that.
Well,
Like,
yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what they announce and when they announce it, right?
Yeah, that is true.
All right. So I guess shall we start wrapping this up then?
Yeah, we should. Well, thank you again, everybody, for watching.
Yep. Well, again, glad to have you back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're gonna try to stick to a regular schedule. I know, especially with my job now, I start getting into my Department of Health surveys for my facility. So now my schedule is going to be all over the freaking place now. But we're definitely going to try to stick to a regular schedule. We're going to try. Hopefully, we'll be able to. I mean, during the week might be tough, but maybe if we can stick to like maybe a weekend or something like that, so we can get it done. But we'll figure it out. We'll tweet about it. Follow us on Twitter @comics_talk.
Yep.
All that good stuff. Questions, comments, please feel free to post.
Yes. Talk to us.
Yes, please, please. We're lonely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll go sign off first. Again, thank you all for watching. Definitely check out check out this episode. Check out for anyone that hasn't seen the previous episodes, check those out. And I will see you next time.
Yeah. Thank you, Charles. Again, @comics_talk. Thank you. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a lovely weekend.
See you.